Hey guys, so this is a continuation, believe it or not. I'm gonna have so many of these. This is like Fast and the Furious. This is never-ending saga of the Ask Me Anything, Choose Your Own Adventure. And this one I felt like needed to get its own video. So this one is Cocoabine. Thank you for this question. And again, my hair, I'm not digging my hair today. It's driving me nuts, but we're just gonna keep on keeping on. How would I sum up each MBTI, Myers-Briggs type, from my own experience or perception in a sentence? So I wrote down all the types so I didn't forget anybody. And I will try to sum them up. This, again, disclaimer, is based on people I know or have known and our interactions, so they could be totally different from what you've experienced, so I'd be interested to hear that. And I also might add, I was going to do a video called the contradictions of each type, so I might throw in those for some of them, maybe all of them, I don't know, we'll see. Things that you don't think of for that type, but it's true. It's like, whoa. Because I noticed one from my type, the ENFJs, I was like, ooh, I think we kind of are like this, so we don't even realize it, or maybe we do. And I was like, so there is that. And please, if I welcome you to my channel, by the way, I'm Rebecca Bibble, and I would love for you to like, comment, subscribe, invite other people, and let's grow this channel so it can be just a fun little corner of the internet full of random stuff, just random goodness. It's this one curl, that's what it is. It didn't curl, that's why it's driving me crazy, so I try to make it twist and curl, and all right, so summarize in a sentence. These might not be sentences, more so I just wrote the types. I did not write a sentence because I want it to be organic as I think of them, inspired on the spot. And these might be more like words or impressions. I don't know. I'll try to keep it under a paragraph at least. So starting with the ENFP, if I had to summarize them, I would say sunny, fun, interesting, lively, passionate, dreamers. And I actually wrote the contradictions down, but I do think that a lot of them are depressed, which is an interesting dichotomy. I think they're sunny, but with a deep, like, inner dark world that most people probably don't know about. And you can correct me on any of these. If you are an ENFP or know any ENFPs, you can say right or wrong, but I'm willing to bet. That's why I thought I was an ENFP. That's why I feel like I'm a hybrid ENFP, because I have that like inner goth child hidden in here that likes to come out from time to time. So that's my ENFP in a sentence. ENFJ, that's my type. Borderline ENFP, really. In a sentence, I would say, gosh, I didn't really think about this one. I think we are, wow, this might be the hardest one because it's me, part of me. I would say almost like aware, socially aware, I almost want to say leaders, but I don't like being a leader, so I'm like, I don't know if I want to say that word. Socially aware. We almost come across real serious, I think, a lot of times, from what I can tell. But our inner world isn't as serious, which is weird. Maybe I want to say for ENFJs, like warm, engaging, socially aware, heart-based humans. There we go. And the contradiction is, and this is what I found, is that we can be, while we do try to love everybody and we're warm, I think there is a shadow side to ENFJs that can be very cold. I can be very cold, which scares me sometimes, because I was like, ooh, you either get the warmth, I'm like an oven, or you get chilly like I'm a freaking freezer. Depending. It's like I can switch off my FE and it's scary. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm like, oh no, I just shouldn't say I don't like it. I've embraced my shadow side, but I think that's a contradiction of the ENFJ that a lot of people aren't aware of, is that we can be quite cruel if we wanted. I think we could be the cruel dictators if we tapped into that. Hopefully not, because those could not be pretty. All right, ESFP. For them, I would say jovial, playful, almost like jokesters, full of sensory just overload, if that makes sense. But don't let that fool you, because I find that ESFPs have a lot of insight into things. You're like, oh, because if you take them on the surface level, they're just trying to have fun and be lively and life party. But there's a lot of insight in there that is interesting to tap into. So there's that contradiction. ESFJ, that's like my FE sister in a way. I would say they are usually bubbly, caring, I almost want to say the word traditionalist. I don't know if that makes sense, but when I see an ESFJ, I feel like they're all about like upholding the family value, the tradition, just sort of like, I don't know, you never really see them go too like off the rails away from like societal norms. So kind of they stay in line. But they're also, what did I say here? But kind of like the ENFJ, I can see their contradiction where they can be a little socially ruthless if they wanted to, or if they were pushed to, like almost gossipy or something. So there's their shadow side, there's their dark side there. ENTJ, I would say very commanding, intelligent leaders. Now this is definitely leadership material. But their contradiction, I think, is that they actually enjoy people and they're good with people, even though you see them very much like business and taking charge. Very much a taking charge. I get a picture of a bull for some reason. Maybe I should associate an animal with each of these. That would be cool eventually. ESTJ, which I think is America's, if the whole country had to be a personality type, I think we're in ESTJ land. I think that's why I feel like it don't quite fit in here. Nothing wrong with ESTJs. It's just a very direct. They're direct. They can be bossy. They can be goal-driven, goal-oriented, which is a good thing. And their contradiction is, even though they might seem like they're very much down to business, like an ENTJ, very similar, right? These are like sister types again. I think they really love people. Like maybe, dare I say, like I see some of my ESTJ friends and how they really have cultivated their marriages and their home lives versus like my solo life. And some other ENFJs I know, like we're doing it all alone. You'd think, oh, ENFJs probably, they got so many friends, they're probably hanging out with people all the time. Just I was like, no, we're kind of loners in a lot of ways. I don't know what that is, but I almost feel like the ESTJs that I know are doing it better. The people thing better than me, which is interesting considering the functions. I don't know what that's about. So that would be their contradiction. ENTPs, I would say they are witty, highly intelligent trolls. I know that's a stereotype. No, they're funny as heck, but they're charismatic too. I think I would add in there. But their contradiction is, I think they're more vulnerable than we give them credit for. I think there's like something in them that, I think this is their FE probably, third slot, wherever it is. I don't know right now off the top of my head. It makes them very, they actually are really good at connecting and being vulnerable. ESTP, which I think is my dad's type, I would say very entrepreneurial, very adventurous, and very sensory, like the ESFP. I feel like very sensory based, all about all the stuff, the seeing, the touching, the tasting, the hearing, all of it. I don't know how to sum that up in like a sentence, but right now. Their contradiction, let's see what I put here. I put they need people. I don't know. I get the feeling like at the end of the day, kind of like the ENTP. It's funny how the sister types to me, they kind of are very similar in their contradictions. I just get the sense that even though they've got this independent spirit about them to do things and to take charge in their own businesses and things, at the end of the day, they really like having people on their side. INFPs, my shadow side, and a lot of my audience. I think a sentence to sum up INFPs would be full of authentic heart, emotional, sensitive, creative, interesting, fun, quirky, like fairy energy, if that makes sense. There's just sort of mystical, there's like a magical quality to them. Same with INFJs, which I'll get to next, I believe. But their contradiction is they are tougher than you realize. I think a lot of INFPs have been through a lot of stuff. And while they do have their hearts on their sleeve, I think there's like a tenacity and a toughness to them that I think it's looked over because they have these like usually these angelic eyes and they just seem so soft, but don't let that fool you. INFJs, I would say like a mystical, psychic, highly conscious, otherworldly being. That's what I think of. And I have a good friend, she's an INFJ. And she knows. We're always on the same wavelength. I love it. They just know things on a deep level that most humans don't even consider. But their contradiction, I think, is that they also keep up with superficial things like pop culture and these frivolous TV shows and stuff. I notice a lot of INFJs. I think that's why they get along with ESFP so well sometimes. It's a nice balance between the deep and the shallow. Not saying ESFPs are shallow, but it's that sensory. When I say shallow, I mean like the surfacey stuff that people focus on, whereas normally INFJs would go real deep. I think maybe there's a respite in balance. Maybe they're balancing it out, but that's just a trend I've noticed. Like, oh, they're really into like keeping up with what's going on in pop culture. It's fascinating. Could be their FE too, because I try to keep up in general, just so I'm aware. But lately, I just don't even care. I've been falling off that wagon. ISFPs. Gosh, ISFPs to me are probably one of the most well-liked. I would think if I had to pick one type that every type would like or get along with, I would pick ISFPs probably, because I think they're not rocking the boat. They're just kind. They're easygoing. They're usually quiet. Just gentle, loving creatures. And I don't know. Their contradiction was hard for me. I was going to say they're kind of hermits, but that's kind of an introvert thing, right? Anyway. But I feel like they do usually keep to themselves quite a bit. So that one's tricky. ISFJ, which I think my sister-in-law is, I would say they are very caring, compassionate, sweet, loving, gentle souls. Who their contradiction is they are funny as heck. Like if you get an ISFJ talking about something, they'll really catch you off guard with their humor. It's like, and I think that's because they have the FE and they kind of are tapped into what society's doing and feeling, and so they can comment on that, and it's pretty witty usually. So INTJ, I would say they are magnificently brilliant, calculating masterminds, which I know they're known for. They're so interesting. I love their brains. Like if I meet an INTJ, I just want to like talk to them forever. There's just never-ending interests usually for them. And I think that's a combination of the NI and the SE. It makes it really, and probably the FI too, that makes them really interesting to talk to. And I just like, whoa. And usually people think they're cold or robotic, but their contradiction it's like the opposite of the NFJ contradiction. FI is usually really warm and protected, like nestled like really deep within them. And if they let you in, oh boy, it's like they're goo. I love it. I love their FI. So They're the opposite of the ENFJ, where you think, oh, they're so warm, and then the cold as a freezer inside. Sometimes they're the opposite. It's like they seem cold, but they're actually pretty warm. ISTJ, I would say dutiful, traditional, getting things done, checking off lists, very rational. But their contradiction is, I noticed, just like the ISFJ, funny. It's like, I think because you're not expecting it, you're thinking, oh, they're so serious, and they just will say things like that is witty. INTP, I would say absolutely brilliant, funny, interesting. Don't give themselves enough credit. I think they probably feel like robots or aliens, but you guys are actually, here's your contradiction, is that you're actually really great with people and you're really warm. And I think that's because you do have the FE matched with what did is it the TI? Yeah, so it's, I don't know, it makes you guys, I love INTPs. It's like the warmth. It's like a warmer INTJ, essentially. So you get the cool mind meld, but then you also get them mirroring things to you and understanding emotions a little better, which is nice. And last but not least are my dual ISTPs, which I think there's like a interesting like attractiveness to them. Maybe because they're the complete opposite letters as me. They say opposites attract. I feel like they're like the badass, smart, really smart type that, oh, there's squirrels running across the yard. That's so cool, chasing each other. Smart, handy, interesting badasses. And I think sometimes they can be antisocial in ways, but their contradiction is they're actually pretty social. That I've noticed that they're kind of like the INTPs, where they're good with people, but maybe they don't give themselves time or credit for that. So those are my summaries of the 16 personality types from what I've known, and kind of like, I know they're kind of stereotypical, of course, it's not going to be perfect, it's just skimming the surface, and you can go in so much depth on each type. And I didn't really do sentences, I did more just like little adjectives. But that's how I see it. I would love to hear your thoughts. Hopefully I didn't upset any ENFJs. I feel like, I don't know, it's so weird. I feel like my type is the one type I have trouble having as an audience. I don't know, it's really weird. I don't know what it is with ENFJs, but not knocking us, because I'm one, trust me. I'm just saying, like, just being honest, I think sometimes we can be maybe a little cold. All right, well, that is it for so far. Unless you have any other questions, please feel free to submit them. I'm gonna try to keep doing videos. I skip eating lunch and I just make these. It's a great diet. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you are well. Don't forget, I have a website, RebeccaPebble.com, if you want to know more about me or my creative stuff, because I am an actress. I do have music on my YouTube channel, but I put it up on my website as well, original songs, and I have books on Amazon and all kinds of goodies. Got that entrepreneurial spirit, but not really knowing what to do with it, so I just kind of like blast it out there and hope that the audience, I don't know, I hope that I can get the right people to the right material that need it or want it. But thank you as I'm finding my way. I appreciate you guys being here with me, listening to me. It's always a pleasure and honor. I'm grateful for you, sending you so much love and positive energy. Always trying to bless my YouTube audience mentally. I like to say prayers for you guys. Like, please bless them, love them, help them have amazing lives. So yeah, just sending that to you, all that good juju. And until the next one. All right, love you guys. Bye.